2 of section 3 is going to start putting in practice some of these angle arc relationships. So just to review, a central angle is an angle whose vertex is at the center of the circle. Okay, at the center. And what happens is the arc is exactly equal to the angle. Now that is only true for a central angle. So if we look at the example down here, this is a central angle. It cuts off this 114-degree arc, so that means x is 114 degrees because it is a central angle. So it's a straight translation one to the other. Now in order to find y, we need to remember that all the way around this circle adds up to 360. So y would be equal to 360 minus 114, which ends up being 246 degrees, which then would also mean that that's what that angle is. So everything can work its way around. Now we have another kind of angle, and it's called an inscribed angle. And this is an angle whose vertex is on the circle. Okay, so here's my vertex B, and it is on the edge of the circle, and it cuts out and cuts off this arc. Now the relationship here is a little different. If the angle at B is x, the arc is 2x. So 2 times the angle equals the arc, or the other way to look at it is 1/2 of the arc equals the angle. I kind of like to look at it as this x, 2x, plug in what you know, solve for what you don't. Just remember as you go inside the circle it needs to get smaller if you have trouble remembering. So how does that work? This example looks crazy hard, but if we just start breaking it down, here's an inscribed angle at x, and it intersects this arc right here. When we go inside, we get smaller, so clearly x is 50 degrees, 1/2 of 100. If I look over here at y, another inscribed, and it's creating arc y, I'm coming out, so I'm going to double it. That means y is 68. Now that leaves z. Now initially z doesn't look like it can be solved for because it comes out to that arc. If I remember that all the way around is 360, and if I call this A up here, I know that arc A needs to be equal to 360 minus everything else. I find out that A ends up being 54. And once I know A is 54 and I go in, that's a divide by 2 situation that tells me Z is 27. And so by simply working the picture, I'm able to find all of the missing parts that are being asked for. In the same way, in this example, I have an inscribed angle that's going over here. Now, it might again seem, I need to know this arc, that I don't have enough information. But if I remember, all the way around is 360, then this arc in the green from here to here is 360 minus 254, which means that that chunk from here, arc from here to here, is 106. And if I go in to the angle, I divide by 2, and that means that x is 53 degrees. go ahead, try the next couple of quiz problems, and tune in for part 3.